We got Mike Trizano back here on the program. He's going to be taking on Grant Dawson at UFC Rochester on May 18th. Mike, how are you, man?
I'm doing awesome, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, but it's not as good as you, though. You were telling me you're going to the Yankee game today against the Red Sox. And I actually wanted to start there first because I know Jim Walter, your new manager, has set that up. That must be one of the nice perks of being with him, I guess.
Yeah, man. He just pulled some strings. He's friends with Scott Boras, and he got me to get there. I told him I was a diehard Yankee fan. Part of my bucket list would be able to go on the field, meet the players. I've never done that before, so I'm like on cloud nine. I'm like a little kid on Christmas.
That's great. Who's your favorite Yankee of all time? I have to ask.
Oh, that's a hard question. Favorite Yankee? I mean, I loved watching Mariano Rivera pitch, and being able. That's like a once in a lifetime kind of experience. I saw him many times, and being able to eventually when I have kids and be like, yeah, I got to watch him play like a legend. He's the greatest closer of all time. I'd have to say him because he's always so calm and composed and very professional, and I just enjoyed watching him get out there and do his thing. You knew what he was going to throw, and you couldn't do anything about it.
I was 50-50 chance. I thought you were going to say him or Jeter, so that's good as well.
I'll be wearing a Jeter jersey. So
well, there you go. So yeah, no, it's obviously those two great representation. So yeah, let's talk about Jim Walter. How did that come together with you signing with him? I know there's some history there in the Ultimate Fighter. I assume. How quickly did this transpire?
Yeah, no, I met him obviously on the show, and we hit it off, and became friends, and we talked throughout the year. He was always checking up on me, seeing how I was doing, things like that. And, eventually, I made the switch and signed with him. I thought it was a good opportunity and running with it.
Let's talk about the last fight, Luis Pena. You get that win, split decision. I know you would have liked the finish, but you must have been happy getting a win over him because I believe he was the betting favorite going into the fight.
Yeah, I mean, I've been the underdog a bunch of times, and I hopefully continue to be the underdog because I'm winning my family a lot of money and my friends and my fans.
Yeah, no, that's it's worked out well for you. Do you feel like he overlooked you in that fight a little bit?
I think so. I think a lot of people overlooked me, but it's all good. It's sport. I embrace a challenge, and I showed everybody why they shouldn't overlook me.
This matchup here with Grant Dawson, was this a surprise? Because, it seems like you've been fighting prospects, and Dawson's another young guy in the division. Were you surprised when his name came up as an opponent?
No, I'm excited. He's up and coming. I'm up and coming. Let's get in there and bang. I'm excited. I love challenges. He's a tough kid, and I just want to get back in there, man. I enjoy this so much. I can do it my entire life.
Okay. How do you feel like you match up against Grant?
I think I match up really well. I mean, I think my stand-up's really strong against him. He's a pressure fighter. He's going to try and pressure me, get me on the cage, take me down. That's his game plan. He's really good at it. So I'm excited to stuff the takedown, exchange some leather.
How's training camp going at Tiger Schulman's?
Oh, it's phenomenal. I mean, I got my buddy Julio Arce, who's fighting on the card with me. We're training super hard. You got Shane with his big matchup against Cub Swanson coming up. So been working with him a lot, and Jimmy just got on the June 8th card with Peter Yan. So I mean, everybody's grinding right now. So training camp has been just lights out.
I talked a bit there about the fact that you had a busy 2018 with the show, with fighting for the UFC after. Grant hasn't fought that much because of the USADA suspension. I know there's a mix-up there, but either way, he hasn't fought that much. Do you feel like your activity, being more active, will pay dividends in this fight?
It depends. Some people believe in ring rust, some people don't. I mean, being active and constantly being in there definitely keeps your timing on point. But I mean, it comes down to the person's mental, what's the word?
Their fortitude, yeah.
Yeah, their mental state. If they feel like they're off, they're going to be off. If they feel like they're on point, they're going to be on point, regardless of how active they've been.
Okay. As far as the weight cut goes, getting to featherweight, everything going according to plan. And are you another Tiger Schulman's guy that's on Eat Clean Bro? It seems like everyone's on that.
No, I'm not on Eat Clean Bro. I've actually been on a specific diet plan with this guy, Paul Iotomasi.
Oh, I know Paul does meal prep for, or he does the weight cuts for Des Green as well, who's another New York guy. Yeah.
Oh man, I've been on point. I'm almost 4 weeks out, and I'm 10 pounds away. So I'm money. I feel strong, and I'm ready to rock. And usually like 145 gets tough, but I've always done it on my own. So I'm not suffering at all. I'm actually eating a ton of food and I'm feeling good.
That's great. I know Paul lets Des eat one bowl of Frosted Flakes a week. Do you get like a cheat meal, or is it just strictly, stick to the business?
I got my Lucky Charms.
Oh, okay. So you guys that's so funny. I wonder if Paul like actually prescribes like cereal for people. It's like, have the cereal. That's fine. But yeah, because that's interesting.
He's got it down to a science. I'm a believer. So I'm super happy with how everything's been going, and I feel great. So I can't complain.
Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
Oh, Tiger Shulman, his brother Ron Shulman, and my boxing coach Ray Velez, like always.
And how do you see this fight playing out on May 18th? Grant's been finished before, but not in the UFC. Is that something we'll see in this matchup?
Oh, I hope so. I'm always going in there. I want the finish, obviously. Enough of these friggin' split decisions, man. It's driving me nuts. I'm gonna go in there and just freaking go all out. I'm ready to go.
What's next for you after this fight? I know not looking past Grant here, very dangerous opponent, but would you like a veteran next, like sort of an opponent with some name value, for your next opponent, or does it not matter? You're just like, give me whoever you got.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously want to try and climb the ladder. So if I could get somebody obviously ahead of me, if I could get a ranked opponent, that'd be awesome, But again, I'll take whatever, whatever the UFC thinks and whatever my coaches think is good for me. Just count me in. Just tell me when and where, and I'll start preparing.
And the idea is to keep as active as possible. Like, are you looking for a quick turnaround if you come out of this unscathed?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I want to try and I always want to try and get like 3, 4 fights a year. I want to stay active. I'm only going to be young for so long, so I want to make the most of the opportunities at hand.
And before I let you go, we talked some baseball off the top. I know you got to meet Yan Gomes. How cool was that? What did you guys talk about? I got to hear that story.
Oh, I met him for the first time. Obviously, Jim manages him, and the first thing
hold on a second. I got to interrupt you there. Jim manages Yan Gomes?
Yeah.
What? I didn't know that. That's awesome.
So I was actually when I talked to Jim, I was like, yo, I got to meet him. Like, I had picked him up on my fantasy team in baseball. I've been playing fantasy baseball for 15 years, and I was like, oh, I got to meet him. He was on my team. He went on a streak. He helped me, So I was excited to meet him. That was the first thing I said. Jim wanted me to mess with him. I was like, oh, you made me mess up in the league. I lost because of you, but I couldn't do it. I was like, yo, been a big fan of yours. Had you on my fantasy team. It's a pleasure to meet you. He's a super nice guy. So it was cool. It was a cool experience. He's a big fight fan. So
that was going to be my question. Okay, that's cool. So he likes fighting then. That's interesting. Okay.
I met him at the Brooklyn fights when I was in Brooklyn earlier in the year.
So now, yeah, well, that's good because now, if they ever come to town, maybe you can hook up tickets. Like Charles Rosa, who's, I know he's a Boston guy, but like he's good buddies with Brad Marchand, the Bruins player. So I know Brad always hooks him up with tickets when they go to Florida. So you got to get some sort of hookup like that. Although Jim seems to be doing it on his own with the baseball tickets, right? So
yeah, no, I mean, I would love to go see the Nationals play. That'd be awesome. I'm always down to watch a baseball game. I love baseball.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we love, this fight, man. It's going to be great. May 18th, UFC Rochester. Mike, appreciate the time. I know you got to enjoy some nice weather. Just remind people where they can find you on social media. And if you got any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, man. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the Lone Wolf MMA. And I want to give a shout out to, obviously, my team, Team Tiger Shulman's. Everybody helping me get ready for this fight. I want to give a shout out to Paul for helping me with my diet. I'm feeling on point and stronger than ever. And thanks to everybody who's been a part of my journey so far. There's so many people I could thank, but everybody, my friends, family, fans, I want to thank everybody.